I've been sort of predicting, warning you guys, everybody I've been talking to, that the next 2 years are going to be particularly insane for two reasons, really three reasons. One, a large part of the country and even many of our elected officials wrongly believe that the president, Joe Biden, will be illegitimate, that the election was really won by Donald Trump, but Joe Biden stole it. That radicalizes people. Number two, right-wing media is going to be crazier than ever. Fox News now not radical enough, but fear not, Newsmax and OAN and some other online platforms and outlets are amping up the crazy, and they will be going absolutely no holds barred nuts during the next 2 years. And number three, we actually have QAnon type conspiracy theorists who have been elected to the House of Representatives. We have absolutely nutty Republicans that if you this is not praise of like a Mitt Romney Republican, but if you put a Mitt Romney Republican next to some of these people, it's hard to imagine how they're even a part of the same party at all. And I have a perfect example for you that blends QAnon craziness with radical right wing media. And it is a story about the brand new QAnon Congresswoman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has announced an impeachment of Joe Biden. Now, you might be saying, wait a second, Joe Biden's not even president yet. What, impeaching Joe Biden? What are you talking about? Yes. And kooky Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene announced it on Newsmax. Where else? It's too crazy for Fox News. So she went on Newsmax and she starts stammering because even she doesn't fully seem to understand why she's going to try to impeach Joe Biden. Take a look.
Well, and yes, 10 or so Republicans did this as well. We'll have more on that in a bit. Congresswoman, I understand, though, you have something pressing, something important and something new you'd like to share with everybody.
Yes, I would like to announce on behalf of the American people, we have to make sure that our leaders are held accountable. We cannot have a president of the United States that is willing to abuse the power of the office of the presidency and be easily bought off by foreign governments, foreign Chinese energy companies, Ukrainian energy companies. So on January 21st, I will be filing articles of impeachment on Joe Biden.
Wow. Articles of impeachment on Joe Biden on his first full day as president.
As funny as her idiotic explanation is, the Newsmax host Greg Kelly's reaction when she's sort of like pretending this is huge breaking news, but in reality, she's just a lunatic radical right winger speaking nonsense. Him having to pretend like this is, wow, very, very powerful is part of what makes that clip just unbelievable. Now, she may well be telling the truth that she's going to draft impeachment articles against Joseph R. Biden Jr. on January 21st, 2021, just 7 days from today. What's nuts is we've been talking about, are Republicans going to impeach Joe Biden just for the hell of it? And apparently at least this one Republican is going to. It will go nowhere because Democrats control the House and Democrats control the Senate. And most importantly, because Joe Biden hasn't done anything worthy of impeachment, of course. And if you needed, and this is an early signal that, yes, these people are going to be just as crazy as they were during their pre-elected official lives. And yes, right-wing media is going to be levels of crazy that we only previously sort of skated by with Fox News. Take the craziest thing that's ever happened on Fox News. That's going to be 24/7 on Newsmax, and that's going to be 24/7 on OAN. So there's going to be no shortage of insanity to debunk over the next 2 years. And just a few other. We're going to talk about the metal detectors at the House of Representatives on the bonus show today, so I don't want to say too much about it. But we now have a House of Representatives increasingly riddled with outrageous conspiracy theorists and radicals. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the woman in the video we just played, a guy named Madison Cawthorn, they've admitted that they carry firearms. He admitted that he carries firearms with him onto the House floor, multiple firearms. He's in a wheelchair, and he says the wheelchair allows him to actually have multiple firearms with him. Marjorie Taylor Greene saying she legally has guns, so why shouldn't she be able to have them on the floor of the House of Representatives? And now metal detectors are going in to try to stop that. So these are really scary, outrageous people who are now in the House of Representatives. And there's two ways that this could go. The optimistic path is that the election of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Madison Cawthorn and others is a blip. That, remember, members of the House are up for re-election every 2 years. They're constantly, their campaigns for re-election are going to start in 7 or 8 months already. The hope would be they did in their particular districts, very Trumpy districts, ride the wave of Trumpism to the House of Representatives, and that they'll be gone in 2 years. That's the optimistic side. The more pessimistic side and the scarier side is that although Donald Trump will be gone, we talked about how his impact will continue through the judges and Supreme Court justices that he's selected. This may also be the legacy of Trump. People like these folks who may remain in the House, and there may be this wacky QAnon Trumpian contingent that remains in the House for some time. It's very scary. And we almost immediately, I mean, listen, they'll start campaigning in 7 months. We'll start dealing with it in 7, 8 months as well. But we're going to have to activate to make sure that these people are just one-term members of Congress. And we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. One of the things I make a priority on the show is not to perpetuate stigma for things that don't deserve it. We've talked about mental health. We've talked about many things where we should all just be respectful adults, period, and we would be better off. And Blue Chew can increase performance and give you that extra confidence you may be looking for. BlueChew.com, blue like the color blue, is the first chewable with the same FDA-approved ingredient as in Viagra and Cialis. It can be taken day or night, even on a full stomach, since it's chewable. Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed doctors. You don't have to go to a doctor's office. You don't have to wait in line at a pharmacy. It ships right to your door in a discreet package. They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, it's cheaper than a pharmacy. And best of all, no more awkwardness. We've got a special deal for our viewers and listeners. Go to BlueChew.com. Get your first shipment free when you use our promo code Pakman. That's Pakman. Pay just $5 shipping. That's BLUE Chew.com. Promo code Pakman to try it totally free. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice, and we thank them for sponsoring the David Pakman Show.